had some major technical difficulties that were all on my end, so I'm to blame for that. But fortunately, Jorge Silva of Tours by Jorge in Portugal has agreed to come back again today. So we'll get him on here in just a minute and talk about all the great things there are to do in Portugal. But before we do that, I'd like to remind you to please subscribe to my weekly update. You see the website address going on there below, and you can simply go to that and you can fill out the form and you will be subscribed and become a Klein and Company insider and get all the great information each week. So I hope you'll do that. And without further ado, let's bring Jorge on here and say hello. Hello, Jorge. How are you?
Hello, Rob, and welcome to Portugal.
Yeah, I love the tile. I love the tile in the background. I think that we all think about the Portuguese tiles, the hand-painted
traditional
tiles.
Portuguese.
Yeah, yeah. So
thank you very much for the invitation.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Portugal is such a popular destination for Americans. And before we went live here, we were just talking about that you've had a few calls and some people starting to have some interest in coming back to Portugal. So that's fantastic. And but before we get started looking at pictures and talking about all the wonderful things there are to see, do, and eat in Portugal, and drink, of course, let's tell us a little bit about yourself. You told me you'd been in banking for 20 years before you got into tourism. So let us know a little about yourself and your history.
Yeah, that's true. It was 20 years in banking. I decided to make a change, and of course, change for the positive, and sponsoring my country was the answer. I love my country, and I consider myself an ambassador of Portugal. Geography speaking, Portugal is the first country you will find heading Europe if you're coming from North America. We have 300 sunny days per year. Our gastronomy is amazing. We have plenty of monuments, history, and of course our wine is fantastic. The views over the Atlantic, they're endless. So it's basically it's Europe's balcony overlooking the Atlantic. In a history context, we have 7,000 years, and now we are the first best country to retire in Europe, and we are the third most peaceful country in the world.
Oh, well, that's awesome. My gosh. Okay, so you've got sun, peace, good food, good wine, and a big coastline. I think I'm sold.
It's the perfect recipe.
Exactly. So, okay, well, let's take a look at some of these pictures and you can tell the folks about them here. Let me just stop my video so that they can see it better, rearrange this a little bit. So, okay. So tell us what we're having a look at here. This
lost sound. I lost sound.
Oh, you lost the sound.
I can't hear you.
Oh, well, that's not good. Okay, let me see. Let me see if I can send him a little chat. I'm not sure what might have happened.
Robin, I can't hear you.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, okay, hang on. All right. Hang on. All right, hang on. Okay. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Now it's good. Interesting. Normally, when I hide myself, people can still hear me. So here we're going to do it a little differently. This time, people are going to have to look at me. Let me see if I stop your video, if I can hear you. Hang on. Let's try it. Let's give this a go. See what happens. All right. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay. All right. Can you see the picture on the screen?
I can.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do it this way then instead. The people will have to look at me, unfortunately, instead of you. But so tell us what we're looking at here.
So that is part of the Algarve. That's the coastline. That is the southern coastline of Portugal, the Algarve.
So that was not in the right order then. This one was.
No, it's perfect because this is one of the main images that characterizes Portugal, our coastline. So basically half of the country is coastline, and this, you started in the perfect image. So this tells our coastline, the views over the Atlantic, the beaches, and well, of course, part of the gastronomy comes from the Atlantic, and this is the perfect set. This
Oh,
is in this picture is included the 300 sunny days per year. Okay, there you go.
oh. Yeah, I want that person to be me, I think. Before you say anything about this, I want to remind our viewers, please type in your questions as we go along. We'll ask questions and answer them. So please be interactive with us. Okay, so we're jumping out of an airplane now.
Okay, this is only a sample and an example to tell you that to tell all of the viewers that our tours are private and customized. So independently of any kind of request you have, if it's in our range, we would be more than happy to make it real, to make it possible. So skydive, it's only an example. For example, if you decide for a cooking lesson and other ideas that you have, desires that you have when you are traveling, if you're coming to Portugal specifically, one related to Portugal, for example, like stepping the grapes, we will try everything in our range to accommodate you, for that to be possible, to make your dream come true.
Great.
And this is only one example, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're going to look at some more of those pictures later too. So this is spectacular. This is the Palace Hotel.
Yes. So talking about accommodations, before the besides the 5-star hotels that we have rural tourism, we have wine hotels, and we have palace hotels. This is an example of a hotel in a palace. We also have chains of hotels in fortresses, castles, convents, and monasteries. So this is an example of a hotel where you can stay.
Great. It's beautiful. And then you just said the wine hotel, and I'd say that's what we have here, don't we?
I'm still in the palace.
Nope. We're at the wine hotel now.
Okay,
the barrels. Yep.
There you go. The transmission is a bit delayed on my end.
Oh, that's
okay.
So
yes, this is a wine hotel, and those big casks are rooms, actually. So this is part of the hotel. Of course, they have the regular side of the hotel with normal rooms, and these casks are also bedrooms where you can stay in the middle of the vineyards.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, and then we are on now to we've got the white building with the courtyard and the white umbrellas.
Okay, this is a hotel in a castle. This is a specific chain that so besides the regular hotels they have an agreement with the government for those hotels in castles, and this is an example. We are going to see a picture later on with the entire medieval town. So this hotel is inside the medieval town. Besides the castles, the monasteries, and the convents, basically.
What's the name of the town?
This is Óbidos medieval town.
Okay.
The monument is managed by the government, and the business of the hotel is managed by the chain of hotels.
I see. Okay, great. Okay, now, oh my goodness, this is beautiful too. This has, we've got the green lawn in front of it. It looks almost, like something you would see in the East more. It's got the round domes on it. And so tell us about this.
These are part of the highlights that you will see all over Portugal. From independently where you are, north to south of Portugal, there's a common denominator. The palaces will always be there. The gastronomy is amazing. The history and the wine country. Portugal is a winery south to north, independently where you are. Independently where you live in Portugal, if you have a backyard, you can plant your own vineyard, and you can make your own wine. As simple as that. Of course, there are some areas better than others, but that's all over. This is an example that what you will find from north to south of Portugal. The palaces are always there. The wine views, of course. We are amazing hosts. We are very friendly, north to south, independently where you go. We have a very nice way to welcome our guests. And this palace in specifically is in Sintra, one of the main highlights for you to visit. This is Montserrat
Okay.
Palace.
Okay. Okay. And what part of the country is it in?
This is in the central. This is in Lisbon, very close to
Okay.
Lisbon. So besides
Very good.
Lisbon, you need to take a full day to go to Sintra, and this is one of the palaces that you will enjoy.
I see. Okay. Okay. Now, I don't know if it's the picture is changed for you yet, but it's we're obviously looking at a church here.
Yeah, this is another five-star hotel, and this is also a common denominator related to our history. And monasteries and convents, they are all over north to south of Portugal. This is another common denominator that you will find everywhere in Portugal.
It's beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, now we've got a bird's eye view of the ocean and the city all lit up and a nice big pool down there by the ocean. That looks lovely.
So remember the first picture you showed me with the rocks and the ocean?
Yes.
This is also the coastline of Portugal, and it shows precisely the same. This
Okay.
is in Sintra, very close to Lisbon, and right in front of this town you have Philadelphia on the other side of the Atlantic.
Okay. Wow. That's interesting. All right, now here's a beautiful beach. So, and Portugal is well known for its lovely beaches.
Yes, the traditional, yeah, another landscape, another example, another common denominator. This is also this shows Portugal, and this is another beach from southern Portugal, the Algarve. We will get to that. We will get there later on when I'm dividing the country in regions, north, central, and south. This is the south. This is the Algarve. We will get there very, very soon.
Okay, great. Great. So, okay, so now we've got, this is fabulous, the picture of the vineyards that's all stepped and all the different colors. So I would suspect this was taken in the fall at some point.
Yes. Yes, you are correct. This picture was probably taken in late October or November. So they're turning. And this is the Douro River Valley up in the north where port wine comes from. This is port wine country. All terraced. The Douro River Valley has this amazing views. And it's World Heritage, and it was the first area in the world to be recognized as wine country. Go figure.
Interesting. I would have bet on France any day. So
yeah, usually that's what people think, but no, It was that picture that you were looking at. It was the first wine region in the world.
Okay.
And here you go. So let's divide. Let's start by dividing the country in regions. Portugal, imagine a rectangle on the vertical, and let's divide that rectangle in north, central, and south. So let's start in the north. The north is more green, is more humid, and it's the home, of course, of port wine, and that's where Portugal was born. So the north of the country, besides the port wine, is also famous for the green wine. The green wine is very refreshing white. It's called green wine because up in the north, since the weather is more cold and more humid, the white grapes, they don't mature 100%. It's a specific kind of grape. They don't mature 100%, so they're cut green. Reason why it's called green wine. And then you make this refreshing white wine. Very nice, very amazing to be drank during summer with shellfish, with salads. Absolutely remarkable.
Sounds wonderful. Okay, isn't this pretty? So is this Porto here, or where are we now? The city, it's lit up. We've got the tower up top and the water out in front.
Yes, it is. This is Porto, very charming town. So dividing the country in three, let's start from the north. And in the north, if you settle in Porto, this is the town of Porto. Porto is packed with monuments, very historical, and of course, home of port wine. You have a ton of monuments, lots of hand-painted tiles covering churches. The port wine cellars are across that river that you were looking at. So basically where the picture was taken from, behind who was taking the picture, all packed with port wine cellars that you need to taste, of course.
It looks to me like if you're going to walk to the top of the hill here, you better be fit.
Well, actually, don't worry about that, because the tour is made on the reverse. So we start uptown, walking, and enjoying the main monument. So the tower that you see right in the middle, that's Clérigos, that's the image of Porto. So we start up there and we come zigzagging, enjoying the main monuments in Porto, and we will end precisely close to the river. After that walking tour, we cross the river to the other side for you to have lunch, enjoying this view, and port wine tasting, of course.
Yes. Oh, this is beautiful. So got a building, and it's got like a mural maybe on the side. Is that right?
Oh, yes, there you go. Those are all hand-painted tiles.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
And this is a church. So this is a church. You see lots of monuments, lots of churches with hand-painted tiles like that all over Porto. Not in every corner, but if you start walking, when you stop seeing this church, another one will pop up in another corner. And there is a train station, which was an old convent, and inside the train station, it's all covered with blue and white hand-painted tiles. It's beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so now we're in the winery, obviously, seeing all the casks, and is this for the port wine?
Yes, precisely. So the port wine is not made in Porto. Porto is where the cellars are, and it's where the port wine ages, because the port wine is made upriver, that landscape that we saw a few moments ago.
Yes.
So these are the cellars in Porto. This is where you are going to do the wine tasting and probably have some lunch in these fancy wineries.
Ah, nice, nice. And then, of course, we've got the Douro River, which is up north and has become a very, very popular place for people to do cruises, too, as well as several nice hotels along there, I know.
So day one in Porto, day two in the Douro River Valley. And actually, that building right there is Six Senses. So one of the rare locations for Six Senses to have a hotel, they have one right there in the world, in one of the World Heritage places in the Douro River Valley. So this is day number 2 for you to go wine tasting and enjoy all these amazing, beautiful landscapes, because everything, everywhere you look, is terraced. Reason why it's World Heritage. So they built all those terraces. This is all handwork, labor, and from middle of the river towards inland, every landscape where you look until your eye can reach are terraced vineyards. This is port wine country.
Beautiful. Okay, so now we have got this lit up. It looks like another castle or palace here. It's all lit up at night.
So day number 3 is Braga and Guimarães. They are 2 medieval towns, relatively close to Porto, so sort of have 40-minute drive, something like that. And what you have there is the Duke's Palace. The Bragança family was the last of 4 dynasties of kings in Portugal. And that palace that you see there, it belonged to that last dynasty, the Bragança dynasty, and it's called the Palace of the Dukes.
Beautiful. And then is this the other side of the castle that we saw the courtyard of before? This has got the flags on the side of it, the white and blue flags with the white flags with the blue crosses on it. And
this is different.
Oh, it is. Okay.
So this, the Duke's Palace that you were showing a few moments ago is probably 200 yards from this castle. So The Duke's Palace is from the 18th century, and this castle is from the 11th century. So 900 years, 900 years
goodness.
difference between one and the other.
Yeah.
So we are in Guimarães. Guimarães is the cradle of Portugal. It's a medieval town where Portugal was born. So the first king of Portugal was walking around here in the 1100s.
Wow. Wow.
And I will tell you, and I will tell all your clients a short version of the history of Portugal, but because our history context has 7,000 years, so I will shrink all that in close to 15 minutes, and you will realize why the Portuguese first king was walking down there, because this several kingdoms, several invasions, so the power shifted hands several times up to the first king, until the first king of Portugal conquered that section and started to conquer lands, Portugal south down to the Algarve, and then Portugal was born. So all that will be explained. 7,000 years will be shrank into 15 minutes, okay?
Yeah. Well, that's quite a talent. Okay, so here we've got, this is impressive.
This is a sanctuary in Braga. So Braga and Guimarães, they are both medieval towns, relatively close to each other. So in the same full day, you will visit both. This is one of the main visit sites. This is the sanctuary. So we are very high on a hill. From up here, you can see the views all over Braga. Endless views, beautiful.
Wow. Oh, okay, this one makes me hungry. Wow, that is beautiful. All that seafood, look at that. So we've got, looks like oysters and clams and langoustines and shrimp.
Yeah, there you go. You said it all.
Okay. I didn't miss anything.
Do you remember the green wine I mentioned a few moments ago? That glass of white wine in the middle of the vineyards. That wine is perfect to go with this shellfish.
Oh wow!
Now imagine sitting with that landscape over the Atlantic, with this plate of shellfish in front of you, with that glass of wine and the sunset.
Oh, that sounds fabulous.
There you go. So besides our gastronomy, the pastries are amazing. Our desserts are simply impressive. And let me tell you a short story about our desserts. Basically, well, I'm going to throw a number out there. 90% of our desserts are made with eggs, so custard. Mm-hmm. And part of 90% of those desserts were invented in convents back centuries ago by nuns, for the simple reason that they were using the egg whites to iron their habits, and they were using the yolks to make desserts.
Oh, wow.
So in Portugal, basically all our desserts, not all, but a big percent are made with eggs, of course, the custard, and all very rich and all amazing.
Everybody says these are just the best. So, okay, and then we have music that is unique to Portugal, and these special kind of, it's not a guitar, but it looks like a guitar. So tell us about the music that people there make with these.
Let's advance in the regions of the country. So a few moments ago, we checked Porto, the Douro River Valley, and Braga and Guimarães. This is in the north. Now we are coming to central, Lisbon. So far we have 3 full days. From Lisbon, you have other different and many highlights. And let's start, of course, with Lisbon. Lisbon, like Porto, the best way for you to absorb the vibe of the city is walking, like a walking tour of Lisbon. And Lisbon is known as the city of the 7 hills. The same comment you made a few moments ago related to Porto going uphill, we will start precisely uphill in Lisbon and coming downhill. The picture that we have here, it shows the musical soul of Portugal, called Fado. Fado, directly translated, it's called sad destiny. And nobody knows when it was created. Somebody says it was created during the Portuguese discoveries, because the sailors were discovering uh, they were going God knows where, doing God knows what, and nobody knew if they were returning, because remember, back in the days, the world ended on the other side. They were falling to the other side.
Yeah.
And there were sea monsters and creatures, and they were going to face all that. They were brave men.
Yeah.
So because they were going to the unknown. It's like going to Mars or going to Neptune nowadays.
Yeah.
So this song, Fado, it's sad destiny, because the ladies were singing sad songs because they didn't know if they were their husbands were returning, and when they were returning, and if they were returning. So that guitar that you have there, it has 12 strings. It's the Portuguese guitar.
I see.
It's traditional guitar that they play fado with, and of course you have a lady or a gentleman singing those songs of sorrow because they don't know when they were coming back. And this is you need to see one of these shows. It's amazing. It's impressive.
You just have to experience that, don't you? Yeah.
Oh yes. Along with the custard tarts and the shellfish.
Right, and the green wine.
And the green wine, of course.
Yeah. So
beautiful.
It is beautiful. Wow.
So this palace is in Sintra. I mentioned Sintra a few moments ago already. So besides a full day in Lisbon, you will have a full day in Sintra. This is the Pena Palace, the highlights. A few moments ago, you showed another palace, the Montserrat Palace. Usually we take our clients to this one, Pena Palace, the main highlight, main attraction. Second one, Montserrat Palace, that you showed a few moments ago. This palace is from the 18th century. Lots of stories I have to tell you about this palace, the entire construction, the entire adventure of building something in a specific microclimate, because this mountain is luxuriously green, very close to Lisbon. So the microclimate creates this luxuriously green landscape. It's like a fairy tale place. This mountain is World Heritage. It's protected. It has 4 palaces. It has a castle, the most western point of Europe, a convent carved in the rocks, and everything, all this in a very small space. So basically a full day is barely enough for you to enjoy all this. And this palace has 2 love stories that I have to tell.
Okay.
Well, not now, because it will take time. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we probably, because we still have 10 more pictures we want to get through, so we'll have to do that another time. Okay. So this is beautiful. You have some kayaking here, and you've got a lighthouse out there in the distance. Where are we now?
So in the same full day from Sintra, on the way back to Lisbon, we will cross Cascais. Cascais is the Portuguese Riviera. King Charles in English, he loved sailing, and Cascais is amazing for sail. And he decided to spend his vacations, summer seasons in Cascais. And of course, all the nobles followed the king. And all those nobles started to build big, beautiful, fancy houses all along the all along this coast. It's called the Estoril Coast, attached to Cascais. That's one of the houses that you can see. Many like these houses all along the coast. Wow. So, and it became very fancy. And on the way to Lisbon, we will cross Cascais. And Cascais was also very important during the Second World War, although Portugal was a neutral country. A ton of spies were in Portugal from all of the countries involved in the Second World War, fighting above our heads. And guess what? Ian Fleming was one of those spies working for the MI5, and he was located right here in Cascais, and he created the character of James Bond in Cascais.
Oh, interesting. How interesting. Well, that's a piece of trivia for all the James Bond fans out there for sure.
And
And oh,
let me tell you something else. The movie Casino Royale, actually the first book, Casino Royale, is based on the Casino of Estoril, right there in Cascais.
ah, interesting. Very, very interesting. I actually just watched that movie not too long ago.
So yeah, you will see all that, and
Yeah.
now you have a background, extra information saying oh, no, that's the Casino Royale in Portugal.
Yeah. Yeah,
There you
exactly.
go.
Exactly. So here we've got a night shot of the beach.
So besides Lisbon and besides Sintra, day number 3, another full day. This is Nazaré Fishing Village. From Lisbon, it's more or less like a 1 hour drive, but it's not only Nazaré Fishing Village. There is another highlight called Óbidos, I mentioned a few moments ago as well.
Yeah.
So all the restaurants here are traditional. What does this mean? Of course, there's many traditions in Portugal, but in this fishing village, the tradition is still alive and packed with restaurants. This small fishing village, and what does this mean? It means that the lady cooking is probably the grandmother, so 3 generations ago. Second generation, which is the mother and the father of the daughter who is serving the table. So the mother and the father probably they are behind the counter, and
Hmm.
the kids they are serving at the tables. So this is
Yeah.
for you to see how easy it is to find the generations here in this fishing village, and everything
Oh,
is so
wow.
traditional. And probably the grandmother would come to the restaurant inside and ask to the guests how the food is. So you see the grandmother, you see the mother and the father, and you see the children all working in the same place.
Oh, it's
Different generations, same
yeah,
family.
real family affair. Absolutely. So, all right. So now we've got a castle up on a hill here.
This is Óbidos. So after Nazaré Fishing Village, and probably we can add a wine tasting in this region because it's also a region of wine. You will end your day in this medieval town. And remember the castle that you showed a few moments ago, that it was a hotel as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's precisely those 2 towers in between, up
Ah,
above the
okay.
hill. That is the
Okay.
5-star hotel. And
I
this is
see.
the medieval town where the hotel is. Óbidos, very charming. So
Oh,
King Dinis, in the 1200s, he refortified the town, made it pretty, and offered to his queen, Queen Isabel, because the
ah,
queen fell in love with the town, and he offered her the town in her dowry.
I see. I see. Wow. And so now what's this a ruin of?
Day number 4, wine country, inland. This is Évora medieval town. And that is the Temple of Diana. It's a Roman temple.
Ah,
It's the
mhm.
biggest Roman temple in the Iberian Peninsula.
Oh, wow.
So Roman time. And we
Interesting.
are in an area of the country, which is the history. It's all about Romans, Celts. This section of the country is where 80% of the cork in the entire world comes from, olive oil, and of course wine, and pottery as well.
Wow. All kinds of great stuff there. And isn't this beautiful? Is this the same castle again from the other side?
This is different. This is the first time we are seeing. So on the left, you have a church, that yellow gate, yellow door,
Yes.
which is covered in blue and white tile on the inside. And you
Uh-huh.
have the temple, and behind you had towers of the 12th century cathedral.
Okay. Okay. Beautiful at night, all lit up. It's gorgeous.
And this is another medieval town that you go from Évora. This is called Monsaraz. This is on top of a hill, and this town is the cherry on top of the cake.
Mm, lovely.
And this is another area.
Sorry, got a little fast there.
So this is Knights Templar. So this is Knights Templar Castle, and this is the Knights Templar monastery. So the
Wow.
Knights Templar were fighting side by side with the first kings of Portugal. and they're very big religious order in Portugal. Well,
Mhm.
back in the days, there were endless religious orders, as you know, and the
Yes.
Knights Templar were a big one of the main ones.
Yeah.
So that castle, after conquered by the first king of Portugal with the help of the Knights Templar, was an offer to the Knights Templar by the first king of Portugal. And of course, they built also this monastery.
Beautiful. Gosh.
So this is another full day
Oh,
for your
we're back,
clients.
and we're back to the beginning. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna. Wow. Well, that was a beautiful one to end on there with that monastery, the inside of that Knights Templar. That's amazing, and that is an interesting history. The Knights Templar. That's a very very interesting history. I've read some books with various stories with them, and it's very long and interesting history.
Yes, I will tell you all about it. Please, I'm waiting for you and for your clients. Just let me know. Let's start booking. One of
Yeah, yeah,
I have a remark. Well, I have several remarks, but some more important than other. And unfortunately, we don't have all night.
yeah.
Um, for those hotels, those amazing hotels that I have been sponsoring, the 5-star hotels, the monuments, the castles, the cathedrals, and all that, if you decide to stay in one of those amazing, beautiful hotels,
Mhm.
the reservations have to be made from 6 to 12 months in advance, depending on
Oh, wow. Okay.
when you come. So
Yeah,
if you're coming in between April to October, this is high season in Portugal,
yeah.
starting April till the end of October. Okay.
Okay, okay. Great. Well, that's good. That is good information to have. And just so that our viewers know, we're looking at all these countries in Europe opening up more and more day by day, and we are looking forward to sending some folks to Portugal and can't wait to book your trips. And once again, I'm going to say please sign up for my weekly update and do that on the website. You see it scrolling by there on the bottom. And we'll keep you updated on things going on in Portugal and things that are available. And be happy to get you connected with George for a fabulous tour over there. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And thank you, George. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. And in case your clients decide to come to Portugal through you, they will be the star of the show. Thank you once again.
All right. Thanks.